Hey guys, Jared James here, and welcome to episode 5 of my podcast, Today with Jared James. And today what I want to talk about is how to know if you're wasting money every month, okay? Now this is one that really came about because I was doing recently, we do these things called Mastermind, where it's me and one of our top coaches, recently it's been Mark Manaha, get together in a suite in Vegas or somewhere else with people. They pay $5,000 a pop, and we get like 10 to 20 people in there, and for 2 full days we actually go over their business and we show them how to set up it as a predictable business and how to actually create a business that is saleable and all of those kinds of things. And he was telling this story recently there that I thought would relate to a lot of you, that I thought would help a lot of you. And actually, now that I think about it, he was telling the story at our advance. And he was telling the story how when he started growing as a real estate business and he was doing a ton of transactions, his budget went completely out of control. And it didn't seem to matter because he didn't notice, because he was making a lot of money. He was doing a lot of transactions. And so one time we were going to do the mastermind like we do, and he said he wanted to show me some of the stuff going on with his business, and he wanted me to look at the numbers and all this kind of stuff. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember the exact number, but I think in total for the marketing stuff he was doing, he was spending like $36,000 a month or something like that. It was some figure, which, by the way, isn't a crazy figure, isn't a low figure. It's all about your ROI, your return on investment, but it seemed like a lot compared to the last time I had seen him. So I asked him to see it, and I started going through his numbers, and I just said, dude, are you nuts? Like, what is this? You're spending this over here, you got this over there. What kind of return are you getting on that? What's going on over here? And he looked at me, and to his credit, and this is actually something he's really good at now, which is why he does the masterminds with me now, is he just kind of said, I don't know. I just kind of assumed. And so what happened was that although he was making money, it was kind of out of control because he didn't even see where it was going. Sometimes what happens is that the fact that we're doing well can disguise places that we need to make adjustments in. And so for a lot of you listening who are wondering, am I wasting money? If you're listening, you're probably wasting money, okay? But the key thing is to be aware. Look at your statements. Look at the results that you're getting, especially in the world we live in today. Like in the world we live in today, cash isn't used that often. Checks, I haven't written a check in forever. You know, it's really credit card. And I'm all for that, guys. I love credit cards. I love Apple Pay. I love all of these things that we have to take advantage of. But I saw a study recently that said that people spend 42% more when using a credit card than when using cash. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense because there's no tangible exchange. Like if I go into a store and I buy something that is $28.73, then I'm going to get $1, a quarter, and 2 pennies back if I give them a 20 and a 10 because I gave them 30 bucks. There's a tangible exchange that occurs when you do that. But when you go to a store, or you're buying marketing services, or you're paying for gas, or you're buying a gift for someone, or you're picking up dinner, or you're getting your hair done, or you're getting any of these things done, and you just swipe the card, there's no tangible exchange that occurs. And so you want to pay attention to this stuff. You've got to look at your statements. You've got to look at what kind of return on investment you're getting. But the important thing also is when you're looking at what kind of return on investment you're getting, you can't always, just because right now you're not getting the return on investment, say that that is a waste. I guarantee the majority of the people who are listening to me right now, if you were to go through your statements and the monthly reoccurrings that you have charged on your credit card statements, I guarantee that almost every one of you have products and services you're paying for every single month that you don't use at all, that you haven't used in a long time. And I guarantee that a lot of you are paying for products and services that are probably good products and services, you just don't have the ability to take advantage of them. If you are paying for online leads and you don't have a fully functioning CRM working on your behalf, you're wasting money. Because there's no way for you to follow up on the level that you need to follow up. That doesn't mean that the leads are a waste. That means that the way that you are running your business is a waste. The way that you are running it is not taking advantage of what you have. So the first thing you want to do is when you go across your statements, go and look at them and see, am I wasting money? But then second off, when you look at that and you say, yeah, I'm not using that, don't get rid of it right away. Then ask yourself the question, is there a way for me to actually use this effectively so it does make money for me, so I don't continue to waste money? And the reason for this is something that I think is so crucial, which is when it comes to wasted money and it comes to budget cuts and it comes to all of these kinds of things, or not having enough money, I think sometimes we focus way too much on the bottom line. We focus way too much on our expenditures and not enough on our income. And guys, understand that, look, I'm pulling from two sides here. Like, I'm the guy that tells you that most financial issues don't come from how much you're making, they come from how much you're spending, meaning that we're spending too much. But I also want to make sure that we understand that sometimes we're focusing too much on expenditures and we're getting rid of things that can actually make us money, instead of focusing on the income that we could produce. Because when you look at income and you look at expenditures, you look at expenses, one of them has a ceiling. You can only cut expenses so far before you get to zero. Income does not have a ceiling. That is an extremely important point that I need all of you to understand, okay? You can only cut expenses so much before you hit zero. There is an absolute floor on how low you can go. There is no ceiling on income. And so when saying that, we're saying, hey, are you wasting money? Please understand that wasting money does mean that you have products and services that don't work. It does mean you have products and services that you're not using correctly. But in some cases, what many of us would call waste, it's only being wasted because we're not set up in a way to take advantage of what we have in front of us. If I have a beautiful car, but I don't have the keys to run that car, the car is not the issue. It's the fact that I don't have the keys and I don't know how to run it. If you have software, if you have technology, if you have lead creation services, if you have coaching, if you have anything that you're spending money on, but you are not positioning yourself within your business or in your life to take advantage of that thing is not the issue. The way that you are handling it, the way that you are coming at it is what the issue is. So please, before you go and cut expenses, which by the way, I'm all for cutting expenses in the right places, before you go cut expenses, understand that expenses have a floor, zero. When it comes to income, there is no ceiling. And so sometimes you don't want to cut expenses. You actually want to look at, how do I take those things I'm spending money on to help grow my income? Because some of your financial issues could actually be solved just by making more money.